All right, here we go. So we're going to be exploring our master pages. And so at this point, I think we have kind of a mixed group of some of us who have used master pages and are pretty comfortable in them, and some of us who maybe haven't used them yet. So where we find our pages, we start with that. So first of all, let's make sure we're all in the same workspace. You go to Window. The very first thing we always want to do is choose a workspace that's working for the type of work we're doing. We're going to be focusing on typography. So you want to make sure you're in the typography workspace. And when you are in the typography workspace, your windows are going to look just like mine. So you'll see that these, all these tools are right available to us. And we have this top toolbar, which is also right available for us, which makes our workflow go much smoother and much quicker. And that's really what I'm looking for. I'm trying to like simplify and have things go smoothly and quickly when I'm working. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what is basically parent pages. For the long time, they were called master pages, and I see this document still refers to them as master pages. They're now called parent pages, and I think that's been in the last year, maybe year and a half. And so you'll catch me, I've been using Adobe InDesign for more years than I want to admit. And so you might hear me always still referring to them as master because that's what they've been for most of my career. This is a very new change. I'm glad it's changed, but it's something that I'm still working on remembering. So it's now referred to as parent pages. And what that means is you have a parent, like mom or dad, and you have all of the children. And so that what happens is all of these parents are going to have the same thing happen on all the pages, kind of like the genes that your parents are giving you and your brothers and sisters. You know, we all have the same nose. So in other words, whatever happens up here is going to happen on the pages below. But you're going to see that there's multiple parents, and like, why would there be multiple? And we'll talk about how that is and what that does. But first of all, I want to make sure you're in the pages and you see that this area here where it says ABC, ABB, CCD, these are parent pages, and down below, these are the actual pages you're designing, these pages down below. So when I click here, down below, it's taking me to page 1, which is the cover. When you're doing any kind of page layout, there's always, when you do facing pages, which is what we're looking at, is facing pages. The first page is always a right-hand page because that's the cover page. When we set up our designs for our 6-page spread, we don't have a cover because we didn't design a magazine cover for our design. So in other words, we can't start with page 1. We're going to need to start on page 2 because you see page 2 is a left-hand page, and that's the first spread, page 2 and 3. So when we get going on our magazine, for our travel magazine, we're going to start on page 2, and we'll get into that later. But I just kind of want to point that out. When you just first get into it, it's always going to have a right page. That's the number 1. Now, if I click on the parent A up here, notice that it's just a blank document. But anything I put on this blank document will go on all the other pages. So for this one, this is just a blank page. It does have the margins on it. It does have the bleed on it. The red line on the outside here is the bleed line. That means any artwork that is going to go off to the edge of the page has to go over the edge of the page into the bleed area. This inner pink line here is the margin. And when we're doing print work, we always need to have a margin so we don't get our type and our elements that we don't want to bleed off the page too close to the edge so they don't print properly. Let's go at B, inner page. Let's click on that together. So here's an example of a page that was designed with a bar across the top. And notice that the artwork goes all the way to the edge, off the edge of the page to the bleed line, to that red bleed line. And that's because they want the blue to go all the way to the edge of the page, meaning it has to go over the edge of the page. The logo has been placed here. Not only that, I want to show you something else. Notice how it says page B. Here's a little footer in the margin, which says exploring master pages. And then here's page B on this side. Now, let's go ahead and look down here below at the regular pages that have been designed. All the ones with B's in the corner are using B master pages. The ones with C's in the corners are using the C master pages. And the ones with the D in the corner are using the D master pages. The only thing using the blank parent page A is the cover is a blank page, meaning there's nothing on the master page. And then there's nothing on the back page either, because those are both A parent pages. And there's nothing that we know right now from looking up here, there's nothing on them. So they're, in other words, they didn't want any page numbers or anything to go on those covers. So they were using a blank page. So if we go on to B, and I'm going to click on the actual art file B. So you can see, we know it's B because it's using that bar across the top. That's part of the master page. Now we're on, just so you know where I'm at, I'm down here on the designed pages. Try to click on that bar across the top. Notice how you can't click on it, nor can you move it. That's because that's on the master page. So the thing that's nice about that, that means it's not moving. You can't accidentally move it. So it's not going to jiggle or jump around because you've been placing it on every page or using it. It's automatically being put on the pages through the parent page. And it's not movable accidentally or not. Now, if I don't want it here, if I decide, you know what, I don't want this header and footer element on this spread, all I have to do is take parent page A and I can move it over here, parent page A. And now look, I've gotten rid of the footer, the page numbers, and that header by switching out the master page to the blank master page, which we know A is blank. So I'm going to go back to B and put B back, because that's really what we want. Put B back, and voila, it's back to where it was. Now, the cool thing is, you saw when we looked at B closely on the parent page section, it just said B, page B, because it was up here at the B inner page. But when I look here on the page we're actually working on, it's already coinciding with the pages on our pages section. And it says page 2 and page 3 automatically. And if we go down to page 4 and 5, you'll see it says page 4 and page 5. I'm not changing those. I can't even touch those because those are all part of the master page. So it's auto page numbering. And we'll be going over that when we set up our files for those of you who haven't used that before. But I just want to point out that when we do page numbers, it's always on the parent pages. And you can see the page numbers are switching on every page, and those are happening automatically. When you're doing a multi-page document like this, you don't want to be having to change out the page numbers on every page. You want that to happen automatically. We want to automate as many things as we can. So in this design, you can see you have a header, a footer, and page numbers all on the master page, which will then be consistent from this spread to this spread. They're the same, they're not moving, feels very consistent. So now I'm going to go down to page 6 and 7, which you can see is a different layout. So I'm going to go over here and point out, let's go back up to the parent page and look at the way they've been laid out. Page C, parent C is a modular grid, and they've labeled it. I want to also say this is such an important thing, is leaving these all as just the word parent isn't helpful. You want to label it so when you are looking at this or someone else might come look at this, it's really easy to follow. So here they have their modular grid, and they built it right here up here on the parent page. And they did 2 different grids. This one, page C, and you are able to do this as well. you can have a modular grid on one spread, and maybe on, for example, your home spread, you'll do a rule of thirds grid. So you can switch out your grid or bringing in your hierarchy grid to a different grid for the different pages. And so the way that's working is here, is it in action? Here's down in the design section. Here's their modular grid. And it's using the modular grid master page. All the grid lines are there. So they can just plop in the image areas and the type areas all very comfortably within the modular grid, which is all set up. And then on page 8 and 9, it switches to a rule of thirds grid. All the grid lines are there, easy to drop their type in, as well as their images in. Again, when things go off the page, they can still bring them over here to the bleed line. Again, I can't touch the header, I can't touch the footer. I can only touch and move and activate the items on the page. And then we have one more, which is image description D. And so this design, if we're on the master page up here, right? Yeah. Okay, I'm up here in the parent section. Here is the footer, page numbers. This time they're white on the blue background. Here is the grid is in here. The titles are being put in, and your text is being put in, so that when I come over here, I actually can't select anything. So one of the things that's challenging when you is notice how the rest of these don't have type on them, because once they're a master page, you can't access them. So when I'm up here in the parent pages, I can highlight the type and activate it. When I'm down here, I can't. It's untouchable for me. So you don't want to put your type in the master page, because you can't access it. I can't change the title. I can't do any of that. I can only do that up here in the parent section. Okay, so I want you to click around and just try different things, get a feel for it. Tell me if you have any questions as you're using this document and kind of clicking around and seeing how it all works. Any questions, especially from those of you who maybe haven't used master pages before? Zion, yep.
I didn't have grids on mine.
Okay, so you need to go to view. You have grids, you're just not seeing them. And then right here, it should say show grids. Do you see that?
I don't have that either. I had to hide my grids, then I tried to show them again, and now it's saying hiding. I don't see them.
Okay, so you want it to say hide grids or hide guides. So make sure
Yeah,
it says
got it.
hide guides.
Yeah, and I still
then
don't see.
I know. Okay, so the next stop is go to screen mode and go to normal.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I fixed it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, good. Good questions. Others? Any others? Another thing that sometimes we need to do with our page numbers, because especially when we're doing a magazine, we might have photos. So let's say I'm over here designing here on page 2 and 3, and I've decided, okay, I'm going to move this copy block over here, and I'm going to make this an image, and I'm going to make this an image that goes off the bottom corner of my page. And so what happens is I've covered up my page number. Do you see that? I can see page 2, but page 3 now is covered. So, and I've done that in my design. The way to avoid that when we're working in developing our pages, and I'm using this one, is I want to get my page numbers off the back of the page and put them on a separate layer so that they're floating above. So I'm going to select my page number there, hold my shift key down, select this page number. Now I have them both selected. And go over here to layers, and I'm going to add a new layer and call this folios. Say okay. I'm going, and you see it's at the top, so it has to be at the top. I'm going to take this blue dot, which is showing me that's the layer I'm on, the lower layer, and I'm going to move it up to the red area for my new folios, which is red. And so now I'm going to go back to pages and go back to my page where I added that page number. I added that photo going over my page number, and now look, my page number is visible. It's because I'm now floating it off the surface of the page so that when I'm here in my page design, I can, remember, I can't touch my page number. I can't select it. I can't do anything with it, nor do I want to. But here's where I can now add a photo or color or something, and it's not going to disappear my page number for me. So that's a little hack. Okay, everyone feeling good with understanding how we use our parent pages? I see a couple. Thank you, Leo, Zion, perfect. Everyone else? All right. All right, let's go on to the next. Let's go ahead and close this one. You don't need to save. We're going to go to the next document I asked you to download, and that's called Paragraph Styles. And this is what it looks like. So go ahead and open up Paragraph Styles. Okay. And again, if you're not seeing the grid, a couple things. View, grids and guides. Make sure you're seeing the words hide guides. That means your grids are on. And then go up to screen mode and make sure it's at normal. Okay. So we're in another InDesign file, and I'm going to scroll to page 2. And if yours is like mine, again, I didn't create this file. This is off of a Skillshare template. And so there's some typefaces in here that are not on my system. Anytime there's a typeface that's giving you this peachy pink color, or sometimes it's more pink looking. I don't know, mine looks kind of peachy pink today, but usually it's more pink. Wherever there's pink, that's saying, guess what? You don't have this typeface loaded onto your computer. So it's showing me that some of the typefaces I have on my computer, but some of these I do not. And so the ones I'm missing, I can choose to try to add them in. And so if I go into character, again, make sure you're still in the typography workspace, right? So you're looking just like this one. And it's showing me that right now, this first one is Roboto. And I don't have it loaded. I can more fonts. There it is. You go to find more and go activate Adobe fonts instantly. And so I'm going to go and look for Roboto to see if we even have this in, I don't even know if this is Adobe font or not. Can I just type, won't it just look for Roboto for me? Or there, Find more. Find more. Filter fonts by classification. Okay, so what is this? A sans serif. Regular. Okay, let's see if I can find Roberto. Roberto? There it is, Roberto. Where'd it go? Roberto. Why does it keep jumping on me when I try to collect on it? There it is. Activate. So I've selected the typeface that I need. And I'm going to say activate a fonts. Okay. Okay, so it's activating the font. So that's how when you get a file from someone like you just got from me, it's activating these fonts. So now, probably taking just a minute. But we should have Roberto. Yeah. Okay, so there, Roberto is no longer pink because I've just activated it. So go ahead and try that. So the next one here is imprint. And so I just want to make sure you know how this feature works within InDesign. Are you all with me? Is everyone following along? Okay, so I'm clicking on imprint. I'm saying find more. I can filter it by category. So I can say, you know, it's a regular sans serif. And then I'm going to look for imprint. Well, let me just jump if I go IM. Oh, good. Okay, you can type it in. Please go to Adobe Fonts for more options, okay? So it's telling me to go to more Adobe Fonts. I'm gonna go over here. Are you guys seeing my Adobe Fonts now? I pulled it in. Okay, shoot, not got the name of this. What's this called? Imprint. Okay. So I want to tell me, is everyone been able to open up their fonts to get it? Okay, so here's an example of imprint, which is the typeface that this document uses. However, it looks like we don't have imprint, the typeface imprint. They're showing me other kind of simulations of imprint. So I'm going to say, I think this one here is pretty close. So I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm going to use Nudista. I'm going to view the family. Let's take a look at the family. Looks like a pretty nice grotesque typeface. There's 10 fonts. That's great. I always like a nice big family. I'm going to say yes, activate it. Say okay. So because I couldn't match it exactly, I've just turned on Nudista and I'm going to go over here to my document and select this and put in my new typeface that I just opened. Just hold on, did I open it? Make sure it says it's active. Make sure I'm knowing how I'm spelling it. Go back here. Selected my type, Nudista, there they are. I'm going to go with medium. There, and now Nudista. My new typeface there. So anyway, so we're looking at more Montserrat. We should have Montserrat. So let's see, Montserrat. I'm going to select here, more fonts. Find more. I guess we don't have Montserrat. Huh. So, so whatever typefaces we don't have, we can just kind of decide what typefaces are going to be close to it. So with Adobe, one thing that I do like is that I can go over to Adobe typefaces. I can put in the font I'm looking for, and it'll show me either the results for that typeface or ones that are similar. Oh, they do have Montserrat. What's it talking about? And it says I'm already open. Okay. What's going on? Okay, so I already have it. Oh, I just don't have extra bold. That's what's happening. I have Montserrat, just not extra bold. Okay. I do have extra bold. I don't know what it's doing. I do have Montserrat extra bold. Come on. Sometimes it does weird things like this. Like I have Montserrat, but it could be that I have it from a different, foundry. And sometimes that will be the thing, even though it's the same name, it's a different foundry. And so I have Montserrat, it's just a different foundry. So anyway, so I've gotten that one fixed. Okay, are you all still with me? We're looking for grind now. Okay, this one is more of a texture font, and I know which ones they're looking for, but this isn't bringing up the right stuff. So let me show you how we do this. Let's go back to all fonts. This is a texture font, and so actually, I think I used it for his last piece. I went into rough. Yeah, and I used veneer. Veneer is kind of closer to grind. So if you are looking for grind, use veneer. And mine are already activated. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to select this and go ahead and put veneer. Why isn't it? There it is. Okay. This is still veneer. And then this is Franklin Gothic medium, which I should have open. So I don't understand why that's not opening. So it's just taking a little time to get this all set up, but I want you, it's a good activity for all of us to make sure we have it. Okay, apparently I don't have it open. I thought I would have Franklin Gothic open. So let's go to find more. Adobe Fonts instantly. Franklin Gothic. There it is. It's looking for Franklin Gothic italic. I want light, I just want Franklin Gothic italic. This one. There we go. Just turned it on. Okay, I think I didn't hit the little cloud, that's why. Now, how are we doing with opening up typefaces? Any questions? I don't know why this isn't open. I've opened it 4 times. It's going to be Futura now. Okay, so you get the idea. So here are some different styles, and I'm not gonna waste more time opening these, but I wanted to make sure you got a few ideas of how to open typefaces as we need to. So now let's look at making our paragraph styles. So you can see I have set up here, there's a header, a subheader, and a body copy. When you're creating paragraph styles, you really want to be creating paragraph styles for things like your header, your subheader, and your body copy. So let's start here on the left column, this first one. You want to select the type that you want to make a paragraph style for. And I want you to see we have character and paragraph styles here. There's a paragraph style under properties, which you'll be able to access it later. But right now we want to set them up. So I'm going to go to paragraph styles. And I want you can either go with the create new style with this little square with a plus on it, or over to the hamburger menu and say new paragraph style. I like to go this way because it brings up the paragraph style pop-up. And so once you're in there, you can you want to go ahead and name your layer, header. For Roboto, this is Roboto. You want to base it on no paragraph style. You can see that it's going to, when you click on basic character formats, it's going to show you the font family Roboto. It's going to show its style is black, size that it is here. It's taking off the size of what we selected. There's a couple key things I want you to pay attention to. At the bottom of this window, it says add to CC libraries. And so you want to add it to our class library, and you want to add it to, you can either create a new library for this project, or you can add it to this class library, however you're organizing your libraries. And so I have a library I've created for this class, which is GD2 class spring 23. So it goes in there. You can also go into this indents and spacing. And I like to have it say align to grid all lines, because when we get into our final, we're going to, our file that we're building, we're going to have baseline grids. And so I want to make sure that it's hooking into the baseline grid. Now I haven't set up the baseline grid on this file, so for now, I'm not going to have it say all lines because I don't know what the baseline grid is here, but when we actually do ours, that is something I want you to pay attention to. Couple other things you can do in this area is you can also adjust colors. You can go down here to character color and say, I want all of my headers to be green. And I'm going to do that just so you can see that, it'll select the green. So I'm going to say, okay, all my headers in this are going to be green. And I'm going to say, okay. Now, when I click off, notice nothing has happened because I was setting up a paragraph style. I didn't select this typeface to be a specific style. Oh, and the other thing I want to add that this one has specific tracking in it. So let me go back to, okay, so you can see here's my CC library and there is my header Roboto that I made. I'm going to double click on it. And then you can see it's now made, my header is now in the paragraph style Roboto and it's green. So I know it's now actually in the paragraph style. I'm going to double click on that paragraph style. And I do want to show you something else, that in the basic character formats, the tracking has been up to 100. So you can see how open the tracking is here. That can be set up in your paragraph style. I can also change that. I can also say, and as I'm changing it, because we've selected that as a paragraph style, you can see if we were doing it to 0, it would look like that. Or the way it was set up was at 100. Okay, I'm going to keep going and do the next one. I'm going to say new paragraph style, and this is going to be my subhead for row photo. And this one has 0 tracking. So you can see this one has 0 tracking. I can also go down to character color and say, okay, I'm going to make my subheads blue. Okay. It's still black because I haven't selected it yet. So I'm going to click select that subhead I just made, come over here to my CC library, choose subhead for Roboto, double click, and then it's also popping into my paragraph styles for this document. Okay, you guys try it. Tell me how it's going. And then once you've done it, do a couple more. And when you're seeing things happening, like for example, the one that has an underline. So recognize that in those character styles, there's paragraph styles there. Sorry, in the paragraph styles, you'll see under the character, when I look at underline, I go new paragraph style, basic character formats. You can see different attributes that have been added. So I never, oh, there it is. So if I want it underlined, I can click underline here and choose to underline it so that everything gets underlined. So there's things you can add, strike throughs, ligatures, no break, cancel. I mean, there's lots of things you can program in to your styles. The submerged one is another interesting choice. And what that's saying is that it has, where is it spacing? I never have to figure out where they're doing it. Well, here's in the paragraph style, they're showing us the text color. This has a drop cap and nested style. Oh, there it is, baseline shift. I'm like, where are they doing it? So here's a baseline shift of -11 points. That's where they're dipping this submerged type. If I got rid of this to 0, and then I said, hold on a minute, I didn't make a paragraph style. Let me make a paragraph style and then do that. Okay, paragraph style, submerged. If I go to advanced character formats and take out the baseline shift, bring it to 0, say okay, click on this, and then say submerged. Why is it still selecting? You can see how it has this plus here. This tells me that there's still a style and I want to override it. I want to go ahead and go option click to clear. So I'm going to option click this to clear it because it was overriding what I had just put in. So now you can see it's no longer submerged. So if I want to change, if I want to change the submerged, stop it. If I want to change this submerged back to what it was, I could double click on it, go back here to the baseline shift of -11 and say, okay, now it is part of the paragraph style that it's going to submerge behind. Okay, everyone good with understanding paragraphs styles? No questions? Any questions? Okay, I got one more thing I want to go through, and that is character styles. So who can tell me what a character style is? I've been doing a lot of talking. I need some help.
I think it's like how you want like letters to appear.
Yes, something that's
Certain
in,
characters.
there's a little description right here. Yes, Amber, you're right. It's what we want to have when we just want a few letters to happen inside a paragraph style. So paragraph styles are what we're going to use to create all of our different hierarchy, right? So when we think about the type we're going to be doing for our travel editorial, we're going to have subheads, we're going to have days of the week, we're going to have times of day, we're going to have body copy, we're going to have pull quotes, we're going to have captions, we're going to have sidebars, we're going to have lots of hierarchy. Character styles are best used to add emphasis to a section of a paragraph. Oops, hold on, what did I just do? Sorry. By limiting the attributes of your character styles, they can be applied over any paragraph style. So let's talk about it. So for example, bold. Notice how there are some bold words inside this paragraph style. Oops, let me zoom in. I want to zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so let me move some of this stuff. I want to have the paragraph styles here so you can see it. I'm going to move my Zoom windows. They're getting in the way. Okay, so here we have a paragraph style. A basic paragraph, but you see there's a little plus here. There's a little plus here, and that's because something has changed inside this paragraph style. And what it is you have these words that are bold. So I'm going to open up type. Where's my character styles? It says it's already open. I don't see it though. Type, character style. Where is it going? I have two monitors, so sometimes I feel like things get really lost for me. Where's my character styles? Oh my goodness. Where are you hiding? On the other monitor? Oh, you are on the other monitor. You sneaky, sneaky character style. There it is. I like to put them in the same window. Okay. Actually, though, for this purposes, I should probably put them side by side. Okay. So notice how under character styles, you see a bold and you'll see the basic paragraph style. It has a plus. So what that means is a character style is something that you want to embed inside a paragraph style, but you don't want the whole paragraph style to turn bold, right? We want to have just the specific words bold because we're highlighting them in our copy for some reason, right? And that happens all the time. So the way we can do that is if we go over here to character styles, so paragraph styles we just set up. So we all understand paragraph styles. Character styles, if we send them up basically as just as more vague, not showing all of the, so if we go back to this, if we use to add emphasis to a section of paragraph by limiting the attributes of your character styles, they can be applied over everything. And I'm going to show you what that means. So here we have a bold attribute set up. I'm going to double click on the character style bold. So I've named it bold. If I go on to the basic character formats, I want you to see how the font family isn't identified. So the difference here, unlike what we were doing for our paragraph styles, I'm not choosing a font family. I'm just choosing a font style. So that means no matter what font style I'm using, it'll turn bold as long as that font has a bold style. Okay, so let's try it. So I'm going to go over here to italic just for kicks and click on something. Or actually in this section down here, there's a different typeface. And I'm going to click bold. Of course, I don't have this typeface. What typeface is this? What typeface is this? Minion. Yes, I have Minion. This. None. Okay, and then I should click on bold. Oh, it's not working. Does Minion not have a bold? Apparently, I don't have bold Minion. It's defaulting because apparently I don't have a bold Minion for some reason. All right, I'm not going to worry about it. Let's go over to another one. Futura. All right, let's go here and click on bold. There it is. So now you can see that bold, Futura. What's this one? Baskerville. Okay, good. Clicking on Baskerville, I can go bold. And now I have a bold Baskerville. This one's in pink, meaning I don't have this font. I'm not going to worry about that one right now. Okay, so you can see the same thing has been made. There's one that's red, so I can go over here in this type and choose something that I want it to turn red. And it's going to turn red. Another character style has been made for a highlight. I can click highlight and it's going to highlight. There's been another character style made for italic and so on and so forth. I don't have that typeface. That's why it's turning pink. And all caps, changing the type. So we can look at each one of these and see what did they do. So here it's all caps, basic character formats. The style name is all caps. The case is all caps. Everything else is left blank. So go through each one of these and see how they set these up. And this allows you, as you go through, to go through and make these kind of generic character styles. Now we can also use character styles for some fun things like drop caps and stuff like that, and we'll get into that. But right now I want you to understand how to make these kind of character styles that are using limited attributes so that you can apply them over any typeface and they'll apply. So whether it's all caps, italic, highlight, red, bold, so on and so forth. So those are things to have handy and available as you're designing, especially a project like our editorial project we're working on right now. Do we all get that, or do we have any questions? All right, I'm going to end this video here. I want you all to go through these and play around with them and make some character styles and apply them and play around with this document that I've given you. That'll show you how to play around with that. And you can change the typeface back here to one you have, and then you can kind of apply these character styles and paragraph styles into the copy on this last page and play around and try that out. So all you have to do on this last page, actually, I should just walk you through this real quick, is choose this copy that, you know, we don't have the typeface for, which is fine, doesn't matter. I'm going to select it all, Command A. And I'm going to just choose paragraph style I do have. I'm going to go basic paragraph. Okay, there's my basic paragraph. And then let's say I'm going to add a subhead, right? Or maybe this is the subhead for Roboto. And I'm going to do the header for Roboto. And there's my colors, my green and blue. And then I see that I have another subhead happening right here. So I'm going to add another subhead in. And I see another subhead over here. So I'm going to add that one in. And so on and so forth. So you can kind of play with that. You can add in some of your character styles and so on and so forth, and try that out on this last page. That's kind of your sandbox to play in with that one. All right, and have fun. And I'm here if you have any questions. Thanks.